This podcast is brought to you by On Track Studio. Jay Topp, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I am honestly so excited to have this conversation. Your ability to articulate like the depth of, I don't know, I guess business and marketing is always just blown me away. That's what's drawn me to you. So we're going to definitely be exploring a bit of that today.
Awesome.
But before we get into it, I'd love for you just to introduce yourself in your own words, what you're creating with Real Growth, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I'm excited to be here as well. Cool. Well, I'm Jay. I am originally from the Gold Coast in Australia, but I live in Buenos Aires in Argentina at the moment. And in creating Real Growth, which is, a community of coaches really aspiring to bring forth change and something new, and taking them through a process of really drawing out something really amazing and exposing that to the world at scale, and to grow amazing online education businesses a new way. Yeah, that's me. I've traveled the world since I was pretty much 18. Lived throughout Europe and Latin America and the Middle East, really going on my own journey of education, and really created so much of this just seeking truth for myself and what's being created in Real Growth, and through that is just kind of a result of that journey that I've been on.
In your pursuit of furthering your own or going after your own education, obviously that is this what drew you to actually be helping coaches? Or because I find it so interesting in your journey in the way, and I mean I've listened to a lot of your content and you're I'm in your program, so I know a lot about what you have to say, but what I find interesting is your background's in ads, which is performance-based marketing, really.
Yeah.
And yet you have this real draw card in terms of the opposite of that. You're not here to prove performative metrics. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about your draw into coaching as an industry, because you see it differently. It's very polarizing, I think, the industry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I went on my own journey, and I was really lucky because as a young person, I got into ads and marketing. There's a real curiosity there, but really out of necessity to support my family. And I was so put off by most of the content that I saw in the business or marketing space. To me, it just didn't resonate. And people had great case studies and proof, but I was just that's whatever that is, it's not mine.
Yeah,
but
totally.
But early on I met an amazing man in a Facebook ad, and I bought his book when I was probably 16 or 17. And he probably just introduced me to a new way, or what I saw in him was the potential for a different way to look at life and business. And
right.
I see business as I'm not interested in business unless it's a vehicle for absolute liberation of the individual. And you can go on all these amazing growth journeys, plant medicine, meditation, whatever. You can travel the world for your whole life. But if you don't have a real vehicle to be able to benefit from what it is that you're learning, you kind of stay enslaved in, the game of money of I don't care about money, but I give away the best of my life for it.
Yeah.
And so I love coaching because it's the ultimate accountability for the personal growth journey of the individual. And then it's also, it's a personal growth journey with an amazing compensation plan. And so they get to profit off their growth rather than their growth being something separate in their life, and they have to go out and get money. And so to combine those two things, I think it's amazing.
It's an integration of it all, because business and life can feel separate. People actually have separation preferences in terms of work-life balance and stuff like that. But it's not, is it? It's really just not separate. If you're not growing as a person, your business is stagnant as well.
It's all just life.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. Interesting. So I didn't realize that your whole book funnel strategy actually came from you actually going through it yourself. That's interesting.
And not even in obviously looking back you connect the dots.
Yeah, totally.
But I bought the book, and I don't even know if I read the book of Ben straight away. I think I read it later on, but I had a conversation with him, and he invited me into his marketing and business system, and it was the scariest decision of my life. It was pretty close to the majority of the money that I had as like a 16 or 17-year-old. And I remember being so fucking scared and talking to my parents, and they're like, oh, I don't think you should do it.
Literally.
and that whole journey. But yeah, I ended up, full circle moments, I ended up interning for him. And he actually, once again, got me to build out a business, a book funnel for a client, or to support in the process of building that book funnel out. And that business ended up, it's doing like $30 or $40 million a year now, that business, based on that book.
Stop it.
Which is crazy. And then full circle again, I got to build out his book funnels a couple of years after that as well, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you've been definitely in the book funnel game. It's crazy. So what do you think, for people who would just have no idea what a book funnel, like the purpose it serves, do you want to explain like what the benefit you see of having a book is? That like, what would you call it? Like a lead generation, I guess,
for sure. It is a lead generation machine, but I probably see it as a full business system for a coaching sort of organization, where most coaches are forced to become marketers. They have an amazing epiphany or an experience of their own growth and what life could be, and the natural progression is to share that, because anyone who's serious about learning knows they have to teach. And so they get into the game of online education and quickly realize that it's actually a game of client and customer acquisition that will be the determining factor of whether they actually get to make this thing real. And so they become marketers, or they become just, chasers of all these new trends, system, flashy, shiny objects, which are new every few months, and they lose the soul or the essence of what actually cause them to become a coach. And so the whole idea is a real business system, so they can focus on the heart of what they're really here to create, rather than just be like everyone else playing status games and just, I call it the delusion of more, where when people think about growth, they think about needing to do all of these things to grow rather than focus on just the one thing.
Absolutely.
And for me, the book is an incredible way to do that. And I love the book system just for the book writing journey in itself as well. It draws out a lot of an individual, and they really need to write a great book. They really have to confront themselves, and I love that.
Yeah, laughing along, because I've definitely been going through that, as I've actually been talking to my audience a lot about, or bits and pieces about. So they're fully across that, because it's like, it sounds good in theory, because you think you're going to write a book about what you know.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with what you know.
I love that. The whole idea of like, you don't write a book to put down what you know. You write a book to create the space to receive something greater than what you currently know. And most people, they don't think about the process of writing like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's it's crazy. I think you could actually use that exact philosophy in a lot of things. Like you could,
for sure,
even in any sort of content place, like I've been trying to take that on within my podcasting, because I used to create from what I know, and now, like, just with this book writing process and also what I'm talking about in the book, I'm sort of like, well, what is the thing, like, knowledge has answers, wisdom asks questions. And just like bringing that into everyday like content creation, or at least what I'm creating, I'm just like, what would wisdom do right here? Like wisdom would not sit here and say anything about how to.
Yeah.
At all.
Oh, for sure. And for me, the purpose of learning, like from others, is to get to a point where then you can then find your own way.
Absolutely.
To build a foundation, so then you can get to the frontier and ask, what is my way here? How would I love to do it? Rather than just becoming an expert in replicating and remembering all the ideas of others. And for me, especially in marketing, that becomes really unfulfilling.
Yep. Have you lived that yet? Like, have you lived the unfulfilling marketing journey? Or did you see it from the
get-go? For sure. I had a marketing agency.
That's right.
Yeah.
So was that line
and that's
social?
That's a joke, because everyone who runs a marketing agency realizes where that can potentially lead.
Yeah, it's funny, because same, like literally same.
Yeah. For sure. Like it was a marketing agency really from 2016 until, it was probably a couple of years of transition, but I think it was about 2022 where I made the decision that I'm only working on a percentage, either equity of the business or what I generate. And I stopped taking on, I guess transactional relationships, and started really focusing on collaboration and co-creating with people rather than, hey, this is a service, flat fee. I'll take my money, you get what you want, and we go, versus like really, building something together for the long term.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just it's a more comfortable relationship for even the person who's like giving away that percentage, because you've got skin in the game. So it feels safer, weirdly, even though you're giving away your profits or revenue or whatever.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it's the incentives of the agency model, I think, are pretty misaligned with the actual coach. They're pretty far apart. And then, the incentives of like selling marketing courses a lot of the time are quite misaligned as well, if there's not some sort of like, skin in the game.
Absolutely. Marketing courses, actually, I'm not even going to go into that. I just obviously don't like them. I think everyone here knows that. So I really want to unpack with you. It's something, again, that I really resonate with what you talk about. And it's all about this, the activity of expressing. Yeah. However, I actually find it hard to differentiate within myself expression for public and expression for personal.
Yeah.
So I would love to talk to you about how you make that differentiation within your own, I guess, like, even if you want to talk about your book or like your content, because you do put a lot out there, like what do you think's public?
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, the whole idea of, the goal is to make your privates public and to let it all out there. But for sure, it's something that me and Jace have been talking about as well, because it's easy as a business owner to have, we all have our voids or what's unexpressed inside of us, the things that we want to get out there, and we can try and fit that, which is so big, inside of a business, which, the business is always going to be smaller than us because we're everything.
Yeah.
And so if I try and fulfill every desire that I have in me within this business, I'm going to be trying to cram a lot in a smaller space. And so I love to express myself in business, but probably a shift that's been occurring in me is looking at like asking the question of like, what does real growth need from me right now? What does it as an entity require from me in order to grow and flourish, rather than me looking at all the voids in my life and thinking, how can I soothe these using real growth?
That's actually perfectly framed.
Yeah. And then having like a separate space to explore my own expression in a non-commercial way that doesn't necessarily need to be profitable.
Yes. Yeah, because they're both important, I think. Well, for me, it is.
Oh, for sure.
I'm a Gemini. I like to talk. I like to express. But yeah, that is so perfect. Like almost looking at your business like a child.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you need? Yeah. You don't need to know everything I'm going on. And I think especially in my space, like the content space, like it can be like, it's like cheap thrills, like to just share everything online. And you might get rewarded for it like initially. But I think, it's something I'm really like playing into in the book as well, because it's like, well, what's, expression is something I believe, but more so wisdom. Like you want to be coming from a standpoint of like embodiment of like what you're speaking about. And often if you're really just expressing, it's not, embodied.
Yeah, for sure.
But that frame is like super helpful.
Yeah, for sure. And there's different levels of expression. Like I think releasing is the most base form of expression, which feels amazing. Yeah. Just to release it, to get things out. Just let it out. But then obviously, there's more organized versions of expression, which you can probably benefit from to a higher degree.
For sure. Yeah. You've got your practices where you like receive the information. You were saying lunch the other day, hey. Yeah. Which too complex to get into right now. But definitely something I want to explore. So in terms of your business philosophy, what would that look like for you? Like, what's your business philosophy?
Yeah, for sure. I think if it's not an act of rebellion, what's the fucking point? I think for me, that's something I want to embody, because it's so easy, and it's something I'm stepping into. I'm not to say like I'm there yet, because anyone in business knows like there's always temptations to play smaller, to take short-term money, to do what's easy, common, that there's already a path there before you to walk, versus actually the only reason I'm here is as a fucking act of rebellion. And if I'm not creating that, like,
what's the point?
What am I doing?
I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to say.
It's so easy to say that you actually have to do it. Like,
let's actually live it.
Yeah, that's unreal actually. And we talk in the real growth community a lot about like stepping into the unknown and like letting go of what's familiar. When was the last time you did that?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like it's massive, and I kind of entrapped myself in a way of I created real growth as the greatest level of accountability for my own growth.
Yeah,
it sounded like a great idea.
Yeah.
Until then, it was upon me to walk into the unknown again, and and it's continually, like, even just like the last month, the amount of things that have come up to be released, the amount of sort of deaths that have happened of old ways in order for me to really go all in on this. And that's what the last month for me has really been about. And it's been scary. It's been letting go of a lot of money, and to really just have the courage, like, yeah, if I'm not here just to make money and I'm actually here as an act of rebellion, why would I do business any other way? Why would I entertain all these other amazing opportunities? I'm going all in. So it's probably been the biggest, that's been a big one the last month since kind of coming back to Oz.
Go you.
It's been terrifying. Like, there's been times where I've really questioned myself.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear it. It was just me. Yeah, no, that's, and it's exactly like you say, like it's so much easier said than done in all of that kind of thing. But yeah, turning down money is a huge one because it's security. It's like a human need,
Yeah, and probably to expand on like my philosophy in business as well is, like, I think business or the path of entrepreneurship is the most efficient vehicle for the development of humans. I just think there's no better way to develop a human where they have to confront themselves, they have to grow, they have to move beyond what they currently are and release everything they're not than business. I just don't think there's a more efficient way of doing it.
No, because you can't hide. You really can't hide.
No, you can't.
Tried.
Especially in the coaching business, because the coaching business is just like, you got business as a magnifying glass, you got sales. Sales itself is one of the most intimate experiences you can have with someone and with yourself, and the magnifying glass that provides. But then coaching, where your embodiment is an essential part of everything that you're building, it's just like there is no hiding. And obviously people still hide in it, but it's just I think it's
harder to hide.
It's a lot harder to hide, and it's so destructive if you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think the way you see coaching has been so refreshing to me, because when I was like, my first interactions like with the coaching industry were like very damaging, like for the industry, in my eyes. And I think everyone's sort of gone through that.
Oh, everyone's got stories, yeah.
For sure. But it's, and that like really made me resistant to like step into it, even though it's very much what I love and like feel the most fulfilled by. And it's it's been so refreshing. It's been so refreshing to have your perspective on it, because it really is about like service and like sharing and just like making the world a better place, which businesses like corporations put on them like walls and in their offices, but like they're not doing it, and I don't think you can in that space,
Yeah, like I used to cringe at the word coach as well, and took me a long time to be able to just own that word of like, hey, I can dress it up or disguise it, but I'm just gonna own this word, and this, like, it's the industry that we're working in. Yeah. But there's obviously so many people have had bad experiences, but for me it's all about the coach. It's all about the journey of the coach. The purpose of the coaching business is not even to serve people, which might be a controversial idea, but it's for the embodiment and the accountability of the individual coach. And when they put their journey first and keep that the center, well, then they actually are able to serve people. Yeah. And it's more natural. It's more of a natural extension of them, rather than being this like forced, like structural way of going about, your business or your offering. Yeah, you're essentially inviting someone in to live a life of freedom. And then if you enslave yourself in the process, how are you ever going to show anyone else how to live a life of freedom? Literally. Yeah, I know. I feel like the huge like revelations within the space about like being victim, like playing victim, and like it's something that I have like pre-real growth, like really felt I grew out of, and like really owned that, like I'm not the victim anymore and stepping into this new way. But then upon like the auditing and all the journal parts of the program, I was like, oh my gosh, like my to-do list is a victim act. Yeah, the victim list. Fuck the to-do list. Get the to-do list out, starting point, start there. Like, and just like the real like accountability to what actually like if I am the creator, like what does that look like? And
it's freeing in the end, but it's so scary, like to let go of like all your excuses, but they feel like reasons of why you're not doing whatever you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's unreal.
Oh, it's so comfortable to be a victim. You have so
Yeah.
many friends.
I know.
Everyone will pat you on the back and tell you how hard you've got it, and
Yeah.
they understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of friends as a victim, but when
Yeah.
you step into, being the author,
Yeah.
there's a lot of space. And in space for me is the most confronting space to be in, because when you're a victim, or when you make yourself small, you have all these things to rub up against, all these familiar pains and discomforts, ways to soothe yourself, even if it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
But when you step into being the author and step into space where there's nothing to rub up against, there is no problems, it's just you. It can be quite, disarming, or like, well, I don't know which way's up or down if all there is space.
Speaking of space, actually, this is a question, like I'm curious on how you actually structure your day, because obviously your energy levels is so important to you. So like what does your day look like? Are you a routine man?
Yeah, I'm pretty routiney, but my routine's definitely...
I wouldn't have picked that.
Yeah, it depends where I am. I would say when I'm alone, it's very easy, and I'm just a creature of habit, and I've kind of find my way in that way. But the last few months, like I lived all alone for for about a year in Buenos Aires.
Yeah. And
so I had, just a lot of time and space, and I was pretty structured in, the first half of the day is just for me. And then, I'd work until, 8 p.m. at night, and then I'd hang out, a social life after that. But yeah, the last few months has been quite chaotic, of just having all people living with me, traveling a lot. And so it's been, because there's limits to the routine, because you can become a victim to your routine. Like if anything's slightly off, I'm fucked. So I probably don't have like a strict routine, but I think I'm just aware of, like, for example, like the 3 cups in my life are me, what I'm creating, and my relationships. And so just having a space for each of those things each day, and to make sure first and foremost that I'm good, I'm connected to myself, I'm looking after my health and moving forward, a space to play music or to write and things like that. And then energy directed towards what I'm creating, which is, the most important thing in my life, really, what I'm creating apart from me. And then, space to be able to share that in amazing relationships.
I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah. So that's my idea of a routine, but I don't have like a checklist or anything like
God,
that.
no.
But I'm not against them, but I just, I've had them at different parts of my life.
They serve. Yeah. Interesting. So you've written 2 books. One of them is the Real Growth book. It's all about actually creating the system to what we've been talking about today. And the other one is Drop Out and Travel. Yeah. How's that journey been for you? Is that a monetized endeavor for you?
Yeah. So we've got like a small community. It's probably about 50 people in it at the moment.
Right.
Just like young people from around the world who want to go on that sort of path. It's been cool. It's caused a lot of people to actually just unexpectedly travel to Argentina to meet me.
Really?
So I've had
fanboys and girls.
Well, it's like I had a guy. I probably had about 5 people come to Argentina to see me after reading that book, and 2 of them now work for Real Growth.
Really?
Yeah.
Adam and Elijah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How fucking cool is that?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is really cool. So yeah, that's inspiring in itself, like the resonance that you've created through that book.
For sure. Well, it's really like it's a real piece of my heart, and it doesn't have my main attention. The Real Growth is what I'm really focused on creating, but it's really my story, and like the path that I've walked. And education for me is it's everything, but it's it's a really, I guess, misunderstood word. Of, the core of what education means is, from the Latin word educere, which means to draw out of the individual, to see what's innate inside, and to bring more of that out. But you think most education is the exact opposite of like, how much can I fit in this kid's head?
Absolutely.
And I'm so inspired by education for young people, because you even see in Australia, it's been probably one of the most confronting things. I haven't been home for a couple of years, but coming back, I think I've met up with 3 mates who are now on ADHD medication, in order to I was speaking to a guy, I won't say his name, but he was telling me like close mate, and I was talking to him, and he needs to be on Ritalin or whatever drugs they put them on. And I was asking, why, or what does this mean to you? And he's like, well, in order for me to do what society expects of me, it's the only way I can do it, by taking these. Otherwise, I'm unable to focus to study and do my work without these, and that's what society needs from me. And I was thinking it must have been a joke.
Right, but he's just
that's just how he saw the reality of it, and that's how he's going to have to live his life.
So conformity, and interesting.
It's like, how sick is our schooling system?
Oh, it's so fucked.
Most of our kids need to get on drugs to be able to sit still and to do it. It's when all that is possible and available, all the life that there is to live. And I remember when I first went traveling for the first time when I was 18, like properly by myself, and I just experienced so much life move through me. It's all I could describe it as. It's like, there's so much life here. Like, this is incredible. Where has this been? Where has this been? And I just think it's really devastating to see how the poverty of experience and existence that most young people believe is the only option for them, because they've never experienced anything else. And that book is, I guess, what I wish I had as a young
Absolutely.
Young person. Yeah.
Almost a permission slip and a path forward.
Literally.
Yeah, I know. It's actually cooked. There's so much wrong with the world. So much wrong with the world, mama.
Yeah.
But
it's an amazing call for independence as well.
Yeah, exactly.
How broken the existing institutions are.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate permission slip to go create something better.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is. Any final things that you want to share? Any insights you want to share with anyone? That most of my audiences are in business.
Yeah.
So a couple of rebels.
Rebels.
or at least they should aspire to be. Would you say anything to them just to roll it out?
Yeah, to finish it off, I would say the whole idea of business for me is to create change. And the whole idea of change is that it's going to be rejected more often than it's received. So if you are not being rejected, probably not playing big enough. If you're not bringing forward something that is controversial, that has sharp edges, you're not creating change. You're just, perpetuating what already exists.
Amazing mic drop. Slap the mic. That's so good. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, and appreciate you coming into the studio.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great to be able to meet in person.
I know,
as well.
Not just a Zoom screen.
Yeah, and I'm excited for your book.
I know, coming soon, guys. I know. Been very open with everyone. I'm struggling through it. I'm going through a slump, but I'm on the rise. I know it's coming.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
Be worth the wait.
100%.
Awesome. Thank you.
Amazing.